Bringing you news from home, across the globe and the sporting arena. A very good evening to you. This is News First Primetime News live on MTV Sports and Shakti TV from our Newsfirst Center here in Colombo. I am Shahin Dharampati.
I'm Sonali Vanigabadugay. 150 people on board on a suicide mission. French authorities declare that the deliberate actions of the co-pilot had resulted in the plane crash in the French Alps on Tuesday, killing all on board.
Well, we have more information uncovered from the black box of the plane later on in the news bulletin. But before that, let's take a look at tonight's headlines.
Warm welcome accorded to the president in China for bilateral agreement signed between Sri Lanka and China. Investigate Gotabaya Rajapaksa's bank accounts. Court orders the CID. Minister Arjuna Ranatunga says that the corrupt are attempting to get close to the president and the Prime Minister.
Four bilateral agreements have been reached during President Maithripala Sirisena's official visit to China.
Chinese President Xi Jingping and First Lady Peng Liyuan officially welcomed Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena this morning at the Great Hall of the People in central Beijing, China. President Sirisena was extended a warm welcome and also a guard of honor being accorded to him. Subsequently, the two leaders met for bilateral talks. The president's media unit said that the meeting resulted in the signing of four agreements. An agreement to provide special funding for the upliftment of the public health service between the Chinese Ministry of Commerce and the Sri Lankan Ministry of Health and Indigenous Medicine was signed. Thereby, a state-of-the-art kidney hospital, a laboratory for kidney tests as well as an MRI scanner will be presented to Sri Lanka. An agreement was also signed between the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Sri Lanka Ministry of Urban Development and Water Supply. According to this agreement, technical assistance is to be provided to conduct tests in areas where kidney diseases have spread and also to purify underground water sources. An MOU reached between the Chinese Ministry of Commerce and the Sri Lankan Ministry of Justice will see a capability study be conducted on the renovation of the Supreme Court complex. Another agreement to provide training on Chinese technology to 2,000 young scientists provides Sri Lanka with a biotechnology laboratory as well as provide administrative and management training to state officials was reached between Sri Lanka and China.
Priyantha Sirisena, a brother of President Maithripala Sirisena, has been hospitalized after being assaulted with a sharp weapon. According to a high-ranking police officer in the North Central province, the individual who had carried out the attack had surrendered to the police. The incident had taken place in the Polonnaruwa new town. Speaking to Newsfirst, Lal Sirisena, also a brother of the victim, said that his brother had been admitted to the intensive care unit of the Polonnaruwa hospital. Now, Lal Sirisena said that his brother will be transferred to Colombo for further treatment. Moving on to more local news, a public rally urging Mahinda Rajapaksa be named Prime Minister of the United People's Freedom Alliance took place in Ratnapura today. Now, a number of Sri Lanka Freedom Party parliamentarians were present at the rally. The public rally, the third in a series of rallies organized under the theme Victory Achieved at Stake, Rally Round to Overcome the National Challenges, was held in Ratnapura today. SLFP MPs including Bandula Gunawardena, TB Ekanayaka, Ranjit Zoisa and Chief Minister of the Western Province Arjuna Ranatunga and representatives from provincial councils and local government institutions were present at this rally. Although former President Mahinda Rajapaksa was not present at the rally, a message sent by the former president was read out.
Regardless of what the public mandate today is, it is an admittable fact that following the 8th of January, the international conspirators grew stronger than us. Moreover, we must keep the enemy informed that although we were defeated in an election, we were not defeated in politics. We must prove to the enemy that no matter what you take away from us, you cannot take away our aspirations.
29 MPs of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party got onto the stage by ignoring the ban imposed by the party. These parliamentarians wish to see the party achieve victory. This is not the task of 4 parties of the alliance, but a task of a majority of the SLF peers.
We are not against President Maitripala Sirisena. At this historic meeting, what we request from you is to make Mahinda Rajapaksa the Prime Minister of this country. We brought in Chandrika to make the party victorious. The leadership was provided from Gampaha. However, what happened afterwards? After Chandrika won, all those leaders who were with Madam Sirimavo came to Madam Chandrika and told tales against our former leaders and destroyed them. Today, some of the leaders who have rallied around President Maitripala Sirisena are doing the exact same thing.
For the first time in the history of independent Sri Lanka, a Singapore national named Arjuna Ranatunga has been appointed to the place where the central bank's money is being printed. The country's interest rate was at a single digit. However, the Singapore national made it double digits to ensure that his relatives are benefited as the 100 days pass by. The treasury bonds have incurred a loss in billions to the country. Simply put across, the country had lost 30 billion rupees in just 21 days.
There was no parliamentary election. There was only a presidential election. A prime minister and government can be appointed through a parliamentary election. Ministers were appointed within the minority through the president's power. While the MP was addressing the gathering, MP Kumara Welgama joined the rally.
A number of newly appointed ministers assumed duties today.
The newly appointed Minister of Aviation Services, Reginald Kure, took office at the Ministry of Civil Aviation today.
This government will not put a stop to the work that was initiated by the previous government. But if there are certain anomalies and shortcomings, we will move forward to rectifying them. One policy of good governance is to continue the investigations against corruption and thievery in a stronger manner and without any anomaly.
The new Minister of Labour, Minister S.B. Navin, assumed duties at the Ministry Secretariat.
We were senior ministers till the 9th of January. Now we have both received 2 ministries with a huge responsibility. Unfortunately, we were both given the post of senior ministers to make us leave. We will not leave politics. We continue to engage in politics. We did our duties for Mahinda Rajapaksa, but after this election victory of Maitripala Sirisena and after becoming the chairman of our party, the unanimous decision to establish a national government was reached with the consent of everyone, including the All Ceylon Working Committee, the Executive Committee and the Politburo.
Shanta Bandar assumed duties as the Deputy Minister of Media at the Ministry of Mass Media today.
It can be 2 weeks, it can be 30 days, it can be on the 23rd of April, or else it could be in 6 months. But we say, if the democracy in the country speaks, we can remain in the parliament till the 22nd of April 2016, according to the current constitution. By this, we have time to remain in parliament. Whether we are going for an election before that should be decided by the president.
After assuming duties, the Deputy Minister met with the staff together with MP Duminda Silva.
Minister Arjuna Ranatunga says that casino owners who looted and misused public funds openly, heroin and ethanol dealers, black market dealers and deal makers, now disguised in new outfits, are attempting to get close to the President and the Prime Minister.
In a letter addressed to the President and the Prime Minister, Minister Arjuna Ranatunga points out that this group of persons are attempting to loot and misuse public money under a new guise. He adds that the real call of the hour is to view the situation with a discerning eye and lead to make right choices. Minister Arjuna Ranatunga had addressed a letter to the President and the Prime Minister, taking into account the current political philosophy and the resulting culture. He adds that all must not forget that there are political conspiracies and maneuvers to paralyze the march forward and to bring back the family into the power. Minister Arjuna Ranatunga goes on to say that the distress he has right now is that the partners and masterminds of that ongoing conspiracy are not outside but amongst them. Minister Ranatunga requests the President and Prime Minister not to grant nominations for opportunistic and corrupt persons. He believes it is meaningful to introduce a criteria and guidelines for the process of permitting nominations which cover all political parties. Parliamentarian Vidura Vikramanayake, speaking at a press conference convened at the Sri Lanka Freedom Party office in Horana, commented on the corrupt.
It is said in Parliament that there are people connected to drugs within Parliament. There are people connected to ethanol. They say that all of them are within Parliament. Who is this group? Tell us. We would like to know. We are against that too. We will support moves against them, be it ethanol or drugs. I have something else to ask. Where are the people who are connected to deals when carrying out large-scale projects? Where are these officials? They only changed the color of their tie and are now engaged in a different play.
JVP Politburo member K.D. Lalkantha says that the current government is not a national government but a joint government. He made this statement at a summit held in Colombo today.
The 15th annual convention of the Inter-University Services Trade Union was held today with the auspices of JVP Politburo member K.D. Lalkantha.
Firstly, if it is a national government, there can't be an opposition. But there is an opposition in Parliament. This is indeed a SLFP-UNP partnered government. What was done on the 8th was sending Mahinda home, but the corrupt still remains. If they want to arrest the wrongdoers, the CID has compiled the files and has submitted them, but they are not being arrested for political reasons. There is an auspicious time, even in politics. What did I refer to when I said going to the temple? The 19th Amendment is good, but this is similar to going to the temple during an inauspicious time. However, they are yet to catch the thieves. They have paved the way for the thieves to exist. However, the Yahapalane is yet to yield results. The Anti-Corruption Front says that if the 19th Amendments to the Constitution is not implemented, the Prime Minister needs to take responsibility for it. This view was expressed at a press conference convened in Colombo today. We believe that the arbitrary powers need to be abolished. That needs to happen. In addition, the use of unnecessary powers through the commissions need to be balanced and disciplined. Third, we need to forget the proportional voting system and move for the mixed election system. If there is an election in the future, all three constitutional reforms need to take place. It is in this backdrop that we are supporting the national government. All ministers must be audited. That has not happened as yet. Without a proper monitoring system, the thieves cannot be caught.
කළමනාකරන විගණනයකට යන්න තවම ඒක කරලා නැහැ. කළමනාකරන විගණනයක් නැතුව හොරු අල්ලන්න බෑ. සාකච්ඡා කරලා ඇති කරගන්න එකඟතාවයන්.
If agreements reached are being violated, if agreements change based on personal agendas, and if clauses and words change, then there is no trace of good governance. Ranil Wickramasinghe was given the post of Prime Minister to provide leadership through a people's rule. If he is attempting to engage in another form of politics, he will not be able to achieve that within this parliament. If he is operating in a manner which creates conflicts, we see that as a constitutional conspiracy. There is no room for conspiracies within good governance. There is reasonable doubt whether those within the government itself are attempting to sabotage this process of amending the constitution. If the amendment fails in parliament, he needs to take complete responsibility for it, because he was vested with this responsibility.
ඒකේ සම්පූර්ණ වගකීම එතුමා බාර ගන්නවා. මොකද එතුමටයි මේ වගකීම පැවරුවේ. කැබිනට් එකේ කතා කරන්න එකක්
They speak of one thing in the cabinet and another thing in the parliamentary sessions. What is this joke? We are a group which work towards safeguarding and bringing the truer sense of good governance. I need to clearly state that if there are any attempts to undermine this, we are ready to fight.
The US government has said that it was exploring the possibility of increasing its assistance to the Sri Lankan government to help it tackle issues like governance, accountability, commerce and much more. Addressing the House Foreign Affairs Committee Subcommittee on Asia and the Pacific, US Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs Nisha Biswal said that after the dramatic opening created by the election of President Maithripala Sirisena in January, the US is willing to assist the new government.
With respect to Sri Lanka, I think you're absolutely right to focus on some of the very deep challenges in terms of supporting reconciliation, and that is to address some of these longstanding issues of land. The government has actually set a fairly ambitious 100-day plan and has started down that path, including, I believe, just in the past day or so, there was announcement in Jaffna by the government, by the Commission on Land that I believe they set up on returning the initial parcels of land. We think that that's a good start, and we know much, much more needs to be done. And the United States has committed that Sri Lanka will not be walking down that path alone, that we're committed to helping them address some of these key issues so that there can be more meaningful reconciliation.
Gold Magistrate Nilupuli Lankapura ordered the Criminal Investigations Department to investigate the bank accounts of former Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The magistrate made this order when the CID presented facts to court over the investigations conducted on the floating armoury of Avant-Garde Security Services Private Limited.
The Criminal Investigations Department once again informed the Galle Magistrate Court today on the progress made in the investigations conducted over the floating armoury at the Galle port said to be owned by Avant-Garde Security Services. The CID submitted to court that the bank accounts of the respondents need to be examined to ascertain whether the Money Laundering Act has been violated. Thereby, the Galle Magistrate ordered for the bank accounts of former Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa, former Additional Secretary DMS Sayaratna and the board members of Avant-Garde Security Services to be investigated. The magistrate also ordered the suspension of foreign travel of DMS Sayaratna. The attorney who appeared on behalf of the company that operated the floating armoury said that the insurance of the vessel expires on the 31st of this month, citing that the vessel housing the armoury is old and that if there is an oil spill it could cause harm to the harbour and the environment. The attorney also requested permission from court to move the 22 cargo containers to another vessel and also replace the present crew with a fresh crew. The magistrate who permitted to replace the crew rejected the request made to move the cargo containers to another vessel.
The Sri Lanka Securities and Exchange Commission says that the transactions in the Colombo's share market recently will be subjected to an investigation once again. Chairman of the SEC, Tilak Karunaratne, said that certain closed files will be reopened for investigations.
As an immediate step, we have reopened certain files that were closed and we are continuing investigations since there was no adequate evidence. Through this, we hope to achieve a stock market that the investor can invest with trust. Even though we do not see any corruption in the stock market, these steps will ensure that the stock exchange regulates properly.
Tilak Karunaratne spoke on the progress of the ongoing investigations.
Colombo Land and Development Company, Reef Comber Kena.
The Colombo Land Development Company, Reef Comber Company and Environment Resources Investment Company were spoken of in the Parliament. We have investigated these three companies. We have imposed certain financial fines on these companies as well. However, we are conducting investigations as to whether we can uncover new information and whether these fines were sufficient. We are conducting investigations regarding the other two companies as well, because the investigations were called off citing the lack of evidence.
Meanwhile, the chairman reiterated the requirement of a legal amendment to regulate the share market.
We are
working towards amending the act that governs the Exchange Commission and to ensure that the Commission would be able to regulate the share market better.
Minister Karu Jayasuriya says that regardless of who wins in the upcoming general election, everyone will work together to form a national government. The minister made this statement at the 13th South Asian Management Forum in Colombo today. The 13th South Asian Management Forum, which was organized by the Institute of Certified Professional Managers under the theme Management and Sustainability, South Asian Perspective, was held under the patronage of Minister of Public Administration, Provincial Councils, Local Government and Democratic Governance, Karu Jayasuriya.
We are also in the process of developing a new constitution where we want to abolish the executive presidency. The Sri Lankan presidency is also a very unique model. The President of Sri Lanka is the most powerful position in the world. The only thing that he cannot do is to make a man a woman or a woman a man. So we have seen the black and the white side of this position, and therefore we thought and we got the mandate that it should be abolished, and we'll go before the people for a parliamentary system of government. Once the new government is established, who it is going to be us or it's going to be somebody else, but we have agreed that all the opposition forces that we joined prior to 8th of January will form once again a national government for a period of 2.5 years. We have agreed that 2.5 years, whoever wins will work together.
The Department of Meteorology forecasts that showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the eastern and Uva provinces and in the Hambantota district. Meanwhile, a heavy downpour was experienced in Colombo and suburbs this evening, with several roads being inundated. Newsfirst Krishan Devasagayam reports from Colombo.
I'm currently standing here in the rain outside the head office of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited here in Colombo, where Colombo has seen unmerciful heavy rain for the past 3 hours. Heavy vehicular traffic has been reported from a number of areas across the city, including Kolpiti, Slave Island, Fort, Uralla, Baseline Road and surrounding areas. While the public is advised to take precaution against lightning-related activities, motorists are advised to use commute back home. I'm Krishan Devasagayam reporting for Newsfirst.
Welcome back. Rosie Senanayake, Minister of Children's Affairs, says that the objective of public representatives elected through the people's votes should be to elevate the living standards of the citizenry.
Another phase of distributing nutritional food packs to expectant mothers took place in Gampaha yesterday. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga and Hema Premadasa were also among those present for the event.
Children who are similar to flowers will take over this country in the future. However, before they are born, they are underweight in the womb of their mothers. The President understood that this is a problem for their growth. This 20,000 rupee nutrition program is one which directly benefits the people under the government's 100-day initiative.
A mother and her 2 daughters have died after drowning in the Kaluganga near Thebuana, Kalutara. The police media spokesperson's office said that the victims had intended to bathe at the river this afternoon. The victims' bodies were recovered by the residents living in the vicinity. The mother and her daughters were aged 42, 16 and 11 respectively at the time of their demise.
A 21-year-old youth was seriously injured in a shooting in the Pilana area in Habaraduwa, Gaul.
The office of the police media spokesperson said that an unidentified gunman has shot at a youth close to his house in Pilana, Murugolla at 7:45 last night and later fled the scene. The youth, who sustained serious injuries in the shooting, was admitted to the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital and is receiving treatment at the ICU. The injured was 21-year-old Gayan Sampath Kumara from Murugolla, Habaraduwa. The police said that he was shot when he was en route to a shop to purchase a phone card. The shooter has not yet been identified and investigations have been launched. Chairman of the Rathgama Pradesha Sabha Manoj Pushpakumara Mendes shot dead inside a hotel in Hikkadua. 49-year-old father of 3 beaten to death at Turkish village in Midigama, Valigama. Individual shot dead in Gona Pinuwala, Hikkadua. Couple killed in shooting in Mitiagoda, Ambalangoda. 1 killed in a clash that broke out during an attempted shooting in Kabbusawala, Biliatta. 24-year-old woman killed with an axe in Dadala, Gaul. What is behind the mystery surrounding the string of murders reported from the southern province?
And that is a wrap of News First Primetime News. It was a pleasure having you with us. For the News First team, I am Shaheen Jurangpati.
I'm Sonali Vanikabadage. Good night.